Kansas City, Missouri. An abandoned apartment building has exploded into a raging inferno. Desperate to fight the blaze, firefighters extend their 100-foot-long aerial ladders to their limits. But under the stress from the intense heat, the unthinkable happens. One ladder buckles, sending a terrified firefighter crashing into the conflagration below. Firefighter Mark Ashley is climbing to the end of one of the aerial ladders, which is being extended to its full 100-foot length.
You're always a little nervous climbing up there because you don't know what's in store for you when you get up to the top.
This time, what's in store for Mark will forever shake his sense of security as a fireman. For just as the ladder reaches its limit, it suddenly buckles in the middle, plunging Mark toward the pavement 70 feet below.
Everything went into slow motion. I was thinking of my small children that I had at home, whether I was going to be able to see them the next morning.
But he doesn't hit the ground. Instead, Mark is jolted back to reality when the ladder crashes into the ledge of the rooftop and stays there. Fortunately, he remembered to hook his safety strap to the ladder before the plunge.
If I hadn't been strapped into that aerial ladder, I would have probably flown off as soon as it struck the building.
The roof may have broken his fall, but now Mark is facing another problem, for even the slightest movement is causing the ladder to shift precariously on the crumbling ledge.
The ladder was unstable, so I really couldn't move.
Mark is also being burned by the scalding heat rising from below.
The fire was too intense, too hot. I thought, this is it. I thought I was going to die.
Down on the ground, the screams of onlookers draw firefighter Rick Carper's attention. As he watches Mark fall, he prays for a miracle.
Surprised how much praying you can do from the time that thing will fall until when it stops.
Rick's prayers are answered when the ladder's operator is able to catch the edge of the building.
The driver was able to tweak it just enough so Mark would catch part of the balcony on the third floor, and that's where it stuck.
With his friend now stranded above the fire, Rick's sense of duty takes over.
My first thought was I have to get to him and, before that ladder falls.
Rick dashes off to find a way to save him. Fireman Robert Bates is hard at work near the fire trucks when he hears the ladder collapsing.
Just out of nowhere, I heard the sound of twisting metal. And I looked up and I watched this ladder it folded.
He knows Mark is now trapped in a deadly predicament.
He was just strapped to this ladder and just being burnt to death with nowhere to go and no way to get off.
Robert is desperate to help his fallen comrade.
You don't even think about your own self. You think about how we're gonna get to him, how we're gonna save him.
Then he spots Rick rushing past with a portable ladder.
I noticed Rick running by me with this large ladder. Then reality kicked in and then everything was just at full speed.
But up on the third floor, Mark has no idea that help is on the way.
There was a lot of smoke and I couldn't see anybody. I didn't know if they knew I was okay or if I was hanging there. I couldn't tell if they could even see me.
Mark is being overwhelmed by smoke.
My biggest fear was smoke inhalation. I thought I was going to pass out.
With every cough shifting the ladder even closer to the edge, all Mark can do is hope that somebody gets to him fast.
While you're up there, minutes feel like hours while you're waiting.
40 feet below, Rick and Robert are racing to set up the rescue ladder.
It just took a matter of seconds before we was able to get around to get a ladder to him. But from start to finish, it seems like an eternity.
Climbing the ladder just behind Rick, Robert is worried about the condition of the roof.
Not only did this ladder collapse on him, he's on a burning roof that's ready to collapse.
As Mark waits desperately hoping for help, Rick and Robert discover that the roof is more damaged than they expected. Rick doesn't think the roof can hold both of them, and he yells at Robert to climb down.
He screamed at me to get off the roof because it was ready to go. And I mean, he screamed like, get your tail off this roof now.
But Robert stands his ground and remains behind Rick. They both crawl through the smoke toward Mark. Just a few feet away, Mark is about to give up hope when he suddenly hears a welcome sound.
I didn't know who was rescuing me. I just heard a voice from the smoke.
Then Mark sees his friend appear.
I remember when Rick stuck his hand through the smoke and he said, "Grab my hand. I'm going to get you off of here."
Rick pulls Mark to the rooftop, but they're not safe yet. They still have to get to the rescue ladder.
As we crawled across there, elbows, knees, we were breaking through this roof.
And I was kind of afraid for us, thinking we're going to fall down through here and burn to death.
Incredibly, they make it to the ladder. And at last, all three men begin their climb down to safety. Robert leads the way. Rick goes second. After Mark's seemingly endless ordeal on the roof, Rick wants to make sure that the exhausted firefighter has the strength to make it down the ladder.
When I saw Mark coming down that ladder on his own power, you know, I just felt so relieved.
When the three men finally reach the ground, their fellow firefighters give them a hero's welcome.
They were all scared. A few of them were crying. They thought I was going to die.
Mark is thankful for the bravery of his two partners, especially the helping hand of Rick Carper.
I said, "I owe you one, brother." And he goes, "No, you don't. You do the same thing for me."
When you have someone down that needs your help, I mean, you're there. Everybody helps everybody.
The fireman and his two brave rescuers. As the world fell apart around them, these three men kept it together and finally made it back to solid ground.